Hello, my name is Alexander Schmidt. I am the co-founder of Frolight. Frolight is a frost protection system, and the question today is how did I came up with this solution or with this idea? It's actually a very simple answer. So I had a lot of issues frost myself in my vineyard because I'm a wine grower myself. Traditional methods that are out there like candles, for example, I couldn't use it because it requires you to be up all night, and I had another job during the day, so it was physically impossible for me to do it. That was one of the main things that drove me or that made me become creative and think of a solution on how this could be better and how we can avoid the work during the night. Frolight is a system that doesn't require you to work all night. So you can just go to rest, go to sleep, and it will work for itself. For me personally, after having the first Frolight tests in my house, at my vineyard, I already immediately felt the difference, which was one of the main reasons also to go ahead with it and to proceed with the good idea. Because I studied electronics, I had a lot of technical background. I was also working in a very technical job. So in theory everything worked, but we still needed to have the evidence. When we first had the idea and when we first knew that the system was working, at that time we still believed that this frost issue was a local issue, only in Belgium, maybe in Holland we knew, and Luxembourg, but we didn't know about the problem. It was a worldwide problem. So that's the first thing that we did, is we found out how big is that problem. Because if we want to start a business with this, we need to know what the possible market, how big can we go. At that time it was Corona, so I was at home because I was a sound engineer and I didn't have any work, so I had a lot of time. So I took a lot of time to do a very profound research about the market, how big is the frost problem in vineyards, and then we just fell off our chair because it is such a big problem everywhere in the world. So everywhere where we started looking, we found a lot of articles and we saw a lot of numbers of people losing their grapes and losing money. With that information, we decided how big we would take this, and that's how we decided, okay, we're gonna start a company, we're gonna make it worldwide because the problem is a big problem. We're gonna make something for every wine grower in the world that determines the size of the company, actually, of how big we see it. So the most important thing to know is that the heat that we use is a radiational heat, which means that there's a direct link between the modules that generate the heat and the plant that we are, or the grapes that we are protecting. You can compare this to, for example, the sun. The sun will always, if you are in the rayonnement, in the arrays of the sun, you will always feel the heat. So that also means that, for example, if there's wind will not take the heat away, because the heat is like, it's a radiation. So the heat will not get blown away, which is different to traditional methods, because traditional methods will tend to use the air that is around for example, you have the wire, there's an electrical wire, it will generate heat around the wire. Also, like the fire pots that they use, the fire will heat up the air, and that hot air will protect the plants. But if there are bad weather conditions, this will not work, and that is the difference with Frolight, because Frolight will always work no matter what condition. Even if it's windy, the heat will always go from the module to the plant. Also, because it's very local, the heat source is very close to the grapes and to the plant. So that also makes it more efficient. But other than that, now I will talk to you about the results that we have seen in other vineyards. For example, we have a vineyard, it's called Belgian. They are in the Loire Valley. They are in the Quart de Chaume, which is a very Grand Cru, very good wine. And they have this particular spot where they gain up to 700 euros for one bottle of wine, which is incredibly much. But as you know, one rootstock makes one bottle of wine. So if you have 1 hectare with 5,000 root vines, it's 5,000 bottles of wine. So they invested in Frolight. It was for them a big investment. But after one frost night, they could have lost everything. They maintained, so they bought Frolight, they saved their crop with us. There was a night, I think it was -3. They already earned back their investment. Even though it was a big investment, they were happy because without Frolight they would have lost everything. So, and that's also how we learned, or how we know like, okay, we are going in the right direction, we are doing the right thing. Because yeah, with this investment, even if it's big, you save more than you invest. So why wouldn't you do it? So for us, it's crystal clear. We have Herman. And Herman is alone. He is a one-man business. He has a vineyard. He's very passionate. He has 3 hectares, and he was really fed up because he had a system with hot air that he was taking from above. So he put a fan on his tractor. He invented a little thing himself, which was working, but it required him to drive with the tractor all night. So he was driving all night, and if it's one frost night, it's okay, but there was 2 or 3 frost nights in a row. And so after the 3rd night, he even told me, I don't know if I can tell this, but I'm gonna do it anyway, that he fell asleep on his tractor at dawn because he was so tired and he didn't break it, but almost. And then he said like, I need something else. And then I talked to him. He was also my teacher and my mentor in the wine growing business. And I told him about Frolight, and he participated in the tests, and yeah, for him that was also one of the big reasons to be happy about this. So we installed Frolight where he had frost every year. The first year that we did installation at his vineyard, he had frost in places where we never had frost before, but all the parts that we put Frolight were saved. So imagine if we wouldn't have had Frolight, it would have been his worst year ever. And if you are a big vineyard and you have a lot of money and you have a lot of savings and a lot of reserve, you can afford to lose maybe 1 year, but certainly not 2. But if you are a one-man company, small company, you can't afford 1 year of loss because it can be devastating. So that was also a very success story, because now the vineyard of Herman is thriving again, has a lot of wine, a lot of bottles available, which is great to see. Frolight is more than a frost protection system because it's already connected to the network. So you also already have the data of your vineyard at home in the servers in the cloud, and it can also alarm you when you have a problem. So that means that it's already some kind of more or less a weather station. So we're gonna dive more into that and add more sensors to it, so that you can remove your Frolights after the frost risk and leave the control unit in the vineyard, and then have more data all year round about your humidity, about rainfall, about light and other, so that you can improve or avoid the frost risk, but also take more action. For example, if there's not enough water or too much water that you need to spray for certain diseases and stuff like that. So that's one of the big innovations. What we're also gonna do is open the market. So now today we have a control unit that is 1200 meters of Frolight, which is sometimes for smaller wine vineyards, it sometimes can be a problem. So we're gonna work on a smaller Frolight, which is called the Home Edition, so that people at home, also friends and family and people that have a banana plant in their garden, can also protect it. So that means that Frolight will become a brand, a worldwide brand, and that in a few years everybody from Timbuktu until Ushuaia will know about Frolight. We will save the wine industry. Without us, the wine industry will be gone in a few years, because due to the climate change, it will be not sustainable anymore. But with Frolight, we can make people save their crop and reassure people that it's worth the effort of having the vineyard, and there's no need to quit or to stop, because with Frolight you are secure. So that's something that we can promise and that we will do. So thank you guys, thanks for watching, thanks for participating, thanks for joining, thanks for liking and sharing, and we see you in the next video where I'll talk more about our Frolight mission to unburden all wine growers in the world.